In the 1950s, when engineers, technicians, and production line operators were using bench instruments, they twiddled knobs, pressed buttons, read meters, and wrote numbers on paper using pens and pencils. And we used phones like this. Later, in the 1960s, we still twiddled knobs, pressed buttons, read meters, and wrote numbers on paper using pens and pencils. And we used phones like this one. 10 years later, in the 1970s, we still twiddled knobs, pressed buttons, read meters, and wrote numbers on paper using pens and pencils, and we used phones that looked like this one. The phones got better and better, but we didn't change. Here we are in the last half of the 2010s, and we're using wonderful, amazing phones like this one. And yet there are scores of businesses that are still twiddling knobs, pressing buttons, reading meters, and writing numbers on paper using pens and pencils. There just hasn't been very much improvement in automation in small companies. Now don't get me wrong. Many of these companies are nevertheless profitable. But think of the extra profit that they would enjoy from eliminating all that waste due to the slow and error-prone manual processes that they've been using. Now it's no secret. Bench instruments have been automated for several decades, and it is so simple to connect a laptop to most bench instruments that have been on the market for 30 years or more. Connecting a laptop to your instruments has never been so easy or inexpensive as it is today. All it takes is a few minutes to make hardware connections, and most software is readily available. Programming is cheap compared to the cost of paying a skilled operator or technician to turn knobs. This applies not only to manufacturing, it also applies to R&D, it applies to engineering design, and it applies even to business practices. You can expect break-even periods less than a few months given the software and hardware available for instruments set up for being driven automatically. Now you got to watch out because many automation companies overcharge for their services and they underdeliver because they select the wrong automation strategies. Keep in mind that many automation companies are affiliated with a hardware or, more often than not, a software company, and so they are pushing a product on you rather than choosing what's best for your company. Now, Tigertooth has over 20 years of experience in automating equipment, and we take the best tools from the past 30 years to offer our clients and the best solutions at the lowest price and shortest schedules. At Tigertooth, we know that looking for a trustworthy automation integrator can be a time-consuming and frustrating endeavor, and we congratulate you in recognizing the need for your company. So here's our advice on that. Check out as many of our competitors as you can, and then call Tigertooth last. We want you to have a well-established baseline before we come in to see you, because after 20 years of doing this stuff, we know the most sensitive tools that will allow you to put together the system you need for the least amount of money. Also, we will ensure that after you're finished using our systems, that you can 100% reuse the tools that you've bought on other projects. Tigertooth offers only services, and we have no affiliation with any software or hardware providers, so you know there are no hidden agendas or allegiances when we consult with you. Very few automation service companies can make that claim. So contact us today. We're at TigertoothTechnologies.com, and you can call to talk with one of our representatives directly at 972-523-0065. Again, that's 972-523-0065. Just talking with our folks is an educational experience. We're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, so if you're in the Oklahoma or Texas region, it's a double bonus because we could probably come visit you that week. So call us up. Let's get this thing going.